Hi guys! This is the new Kuvings Auto10 Plus hands-free slow juicer. Kuvings sent me a sample so I could show you how it works. If you want to buy this Kuvings, there's a discount code right below this video. Click on it to get the lowest price. The unit measures 8 inches wide, 10 inches deep, and 20 inches tall. Without the hopper extension, the height is 16.7 inches, so it may fit under your kitchen cabinets. With the extension, it's 20 inches. The detachable cord is 60 inches. The unit weighs 17.4 pounds. I'll show you all the parts before we start juicing. This is the base with a 240 watt motor that can run up to 30 minutes. Start button is on the side. There's forward and reverse. This is the juicing chamber with the juice cap, spout, and pulp spout. The juicing strainer. While you're juicing, the stirrer goes around the strainer and cleans it for more efficiency. The smoothie strainer, the blank strainer for sorbets, the juicing screw that sits in the strainers, 2 cups to collect the juice and the pulp, pusher, round brush, cleaning tool, and the pulp mesh. I'll show you how to clean the juicer at the end of the video. The auto hopper, which holds 100 ounces. There is a max fill line. The hopper extension, which increases capacity to 135 ounces or 4 liters. That means you can juice a larger amount of produce than with other juicers. You also don't have to constantly feed produce into the juicer. Just fill up the hopper and the machine will do all the work. It also saves time on cutting produce because you can fit whole apples and carrots in this unit. Because you have the 2 hoppers, it's easy to make a smaller amount of juice for 1 or 2 people or larger for the whole family. This is a really clever idea and just sits on top. The new stainless steel blade, which will cut through hard items like beets and whole apples. Beets are one of the hardest vegetables you can juice, and I'll show you how this Kuvings performs. There's a user guide and a colorful recipe book with recipes for juices, nut milks, cocktails, sorbets, and smoothies. This tequila sunrise looks amazing, and you can juice fresh pomegranate seeds for this cocktail. Put the assembled juicing chamber on the base, juicing spout is in the front, and the pulp spout is on the side. Make sure you push down the screw a little and it's seated properly. To attach the extension, align the pole attachment part on the other side of the handle. Press the handles together and you'll hear that click. To remove the extension, press the lock buttons on both sides and lift the handle up. First, I'll juice apples. You can juice them whole, but I would cut them up for the best results and so you can fit more in the hopper. Cut them in half and remove the stems. Attach the cord to the back of the base. We'll put the hoppers on, add the apples. This has so much space. I've put 6 apples in here cut in half. You can see how much space is left. There's space on the side here. So if you cut apples into quarters, you can even fit a lot more. You could easily fit 9 apples, maybe even 10. Close the lid. I've put 1 cup below the juicing spout. Make sure you open the spout, and 1 cup below the pulp spout. If I'm juicing a lot, I make sure to have a measuring cup on hand so I can switch it out for this cup when it gets full. When juicing, if you need to, you can always use the pusher through the slot on the lid. Turn the button on the side to forward. You saw how easily and quickly the unit processed all those apples. The hopper is pretty clean and empty. And the pulp is pretty dry. Before you move the cup, make sure to close the spout to avoid any dripping. About 30 ounces of juice. I have to taste it. It looks so good. Nothing like fresh apple juice, and these Gala apples are really sweet. If you start drinking this juice and give it to your kids, they're not going to like the plastic bottles from the grocery store. The smell, the taste, it just can't be beat. I'm going to juice some oranges next, so I'll remove the hopper, clean it out, and put it back. Press down, turn, and just lift up. You can see the screen is clean. The juicing chamber is clean. There's really not anything much on the juicing screw for me to clean, so I can just keep juicing. Press the side tabs. You can see what's in here. There's some small pieces of apple. Nothing is stuck. This is just going to be very easy to rinse out. I'm just going to remove the apples, put them in my compost pile, and then just rinse the hopper out. When you're juicing, if you want to use the pusher, just put it right through the hole in the lid. The foam you can remove or stir it back into the juice. Measuring cups are the most used things in my kitchen. Get a few of these for the kitchen. It'll make your cooking, juicing, anything that you do in the kitchen much easier. And if you don't have bottles to store your juice, you can just leave it in the measuring cup, but just make sure to wrap it very tightly. The juice doesn't last for too long in my fridge, maybe a day or two tops. Before juicing the oranges, you do want to take the peel off and most of the pith off. Some of the pith can be left on, that's okay. It's just you don't want all the bitter oils from the orange rind. I'm going to juice 5 oranges. This can be cut up or put in whole. I'm just going to cut it in half. So 5 oranges cut in half. The hopper is only half full. You can easily fit 10 oranges in here, and that's a lot for a juicer to handle all at once. And you can have juice for your whole family in one shot. There's a blob of orange just spinning around, so I'm just going to move it a little bit. By the way, if you open the lid while the unit's running, it's going to stop automatically. So you can just push it down into the slot so it'll go into the juicing chamber. Once you close the lid, the unit turns on again, and that'll get the rest of the juice out. And there's the rest of the juice. The pulp and the juice are actually a brighter, more orange color than what you see on screen. It's just gorgeous orange juice. Close the cap. You get about 20 ounces of orange juice. Of course, the amount of juice you get depends on the type of oranges, the size, how fresh they are, etc. These were not the best oranges, they were just okay. 4 of them were juicy, 1 was a little on the dry side. I don't even have to tell you about the taste. You can see how good this looks. From 5 oranges, you got 20 ounces of juice. For breakfast, 4 ounces of orange juice each for 5 people. I only filled the hopper halfway, so you can easily make enough juice for 10 people in just a few minutes. Pretty awesome if you're having people over for brunch. The best part is you don't have to stand by the juicer and keep filling produce little by little. Fill the hopper once and that's it. The machine just processes everything for you. And of course you can refill the hopper and keep going for a maximum of 30 minutes. I wish I could just eat this. It looks like orange marshmallows or something. You can't squeeze any juice out of this. Of course the orange pulp is wet and it is more wet than the apple. That's just the nature of the orange. Actually, you can eat the pulp. It's pretty tasty and it's full of fiber. You can see the hopper is pretty empty. There's a little bit of orange here, but not enough to juice. And we did push that one big piece down into here, into the juicing chamber. I'll rinse this out and then I will make you a mixed vegetable juice. So you see the orange pulp around the screw and the strainer. I'll just clean that out. This little slot here, always clean out. So for our multivitamin juice, I have some kale here. This is purple kale. Beautiful purple stems. It just looked so nice at the store. That's why I got this instead of the regular green kale. Now you don't have to chop this up fine or anything, but the stems, it's better just to at least break them in half. Anything like celery, you don't want to put whole like this long stalk because it is stringy and you don't want it to wrap around the screw. So you can just cut this in half. I'll just cut a tomato in half. Got one cucumber. And I'm just going to cut this into chunks. Carrot, I'm just going to trim the ends. I've just washed them and scrubbed them. You don't need to peel them. I'll do the carrots whole so you can see how this Kuvings performs. I've got some flat leaf parsley here and a red beetroot. I've just washed it. I'll just trim the end off. Ah! Oh, I'm covered in red. The beet I'm just going to cut up. It'll just make it easier for the screw to break it down. It doesn't matter what kind of a juicer you have or how powerful it is. With very hard produce, it's really just better to cut it. Not small pieces, just cut up. Even to make this vegetable juice with all these ingredients, there's very little prep and time you have to spend cutting up produce. When loading the hopper, you want to put the soft ingredients on the bottom and the harder ones on top. So leafy greens first. Then pineapple or melon, then apples and cucumbers, and finally carrots and beets. So I'll put the tomatoes in since they're soft, celery, cucumbers, carrots. This one's long. I didn't cut it in half, but you can just stick it down in here. And the beets on top. Ah! Slippery beets. My floor is all red. This is a small bunch of kale, 1 tomato, 1 cucumber, 3 carrots, 1 large beet, 2 stalks of celery, and a couple of sprigs of parsley. And there's space for more. This is going to make an amazing, healthy vitamin juice. Always make sure the screw is pushed down, otherwise the hopper won't sit on top. You always think it's down, but it's not. Always just push it down. If anything is stuck to the side, you can just scrape it down. I mean, this is barely anything. It's just like a small piece of tomato and a little bit of parsley. And that's done. So it processed everything without any problems. There's all the pulp. It is very dry. What a gorgeous color. It might look brown on camera, but it is a very dark red, just the color of the beet. You know how I feel about green juice, but I will taste it anyway. The flavor of the beet is very strong. I did use a pretty big beet. You could taste some of the other ingredients, but the beet is very strong. So you might want to use a small beet if you want to taste the other ingredients. Those of you who are not used to drinking green juice, you can always add beets or carrots or apples, and that makes the juice sweeter and easier to drink. I'm sure you hardcore juicers can drink everything green without a problem, but for beginners it is easier to add a sweet vegetable or fruit until you get used to the taste of green juice. You can see what's left in here. A little bit of parsley. One kale stem just got pierced into the steel blade there, but that's it. Everything else is just tiny pieces. So this Kuvings did a great job on breaking down all the produce. Just pull the stirrer off. Screw. You can see what's in here. We'll clean everything out in a minute. Get all this out before cleaning in the sink. You don't want to clog up your sink. So for the screw, you just want to take off any of the particles. You don't want this to go down your sink. Get whatever you can out with the brush, the end of the brush. Pull this out. That's all it takes to clean the screw. You can pull these off and wash them. Rinse the strainer under running water. It's already very clean. There's tiny little specks here, and we can use the cleaning tool to get that off. This is the cleaning tool. Slide this tab towards the handle. Put this tip into the hole. And then fold this. And slide the tab over. It's locked. Just move the handle back and forth under running water. Looks pretty clean. Slide the tab back. The silicone ring can be removed, cleaned, and pushed back in. For the juicing bowl, just twist it to the left and pull off the cap. The silicone cap can be pulled off, cleaned, and put back in. Just rinse this off. Open it up. The silicone can also be pulled, but not all the way, and you can just clean it just like that. It just needs to be rinsed. There's really nothing to scrub. If this white plastic tab gets discolored, you can just use a little bit of lemon juice or vinegar, some soap to clean that off. But we juiced beets, and you can see this tab is still white. Over time it might turn a little orange or yellow from all the produce that you're juicing. Don't forget to push the silicone back in, push it in all the way, otherwise you're going to get leaks. The hopper just needs to be rinsed. Rinse this hopper too. The blade should be washed down with a mild soap and a sponge. Pretty much all the parts just need a rinse. The blade you wipe down with a little bit of soap and rinse off. Any small particles can be cleaned with the cleaning tool, the cleaning brush, or the round brush. Leave the silicone open like this when you're drying the bowl. Make sure to dry all the parts really well before assembling. The base can be just wiped down with a damp cloth. I hope you guys enjoyed this review and found it useful. If you did, give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more reviews. I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.